Hello, my name is Eva. This is going to be a little bit of a casual video. I am a bit lazy and don't really want to do anything or dress up or anything. I just want to a little chatty video about what I'm currently reading. So it's October, it's almost the end of the year, and I have already reached my reading goal of 10 books. I have actually read 12 books this year, which I'm really happy about. I always set to 10 books because I always have some months that I don't read as much as other months, so I really like to only have it to 10 books, unlike many others who have it to many other 100 books or 15 books or 50 books or something like that, and I just like it to have it to 10. So what I'm going to do here is I will talk about each book I'm currently reading. I have some goals I'm setting for myself when I choose a book to read. I like to read multiple books at the time, and I have some kind of rules for myself. I've said I want to read a newer release, and then I want to reread a book from those books I have read in the past, and then I want to choose a book who have been on my shelf for a long time, and I will choose a book that is newer on my shelf but not a newer release. And then I have a series that I'm currently reading, and this series is the Witcher series. I'll talk more about that when I come to the book. And then I also really want to come into sci-fi and dystopian again, because I have been mostly reading for the past 2 years, read only fantasy books. So I like to come into more sci-fi dystopian books, and I have a shelf that's dedicated to my sci-fi dystopian and that kind of books. So I like to read more of that, and that I am trying to do. And I have a new release and a sci-fi book, dystopian, and then I have a book that has been on my shelf for a little while, and I have a newer book that has been on my shelf still, and then I have just some for funny mood reads, because I mostly read what I'm in the mood to, and not just because I have to. So it's very much in my mood. And but this I have here the other day I finished my reread, and I haven't chosen a new one because I want to finish some of these books that I am currently reading, because I'm currently reading 8 books, I think. So those are the books that I'm going to talk about now. So the first book is Rune by Hugh Howey, and this is a sci-fi dystopian taking place in a very unforgiving and hostile future of us, where people is living in these giant silos. And what it says here: inside, men and women live in enclosed and full of rules and regulation. But some people choose to not to conform. These people who dare to hope and dream. These are the most dangerous one. Jules is one of these people. She may well be the last. And it sounded so interesting. This is a book that has been on my shelf for a while. I have the 2 other books in this series, and I came in the sci-fi mood once again by watching the Dune trailers, especially the final Dune trailer. And then I had to pick between this one and Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, and this one called to me the most. I read both of the first chapters of both books, and this one called to me first. So this one I'm going to continue. I'm not that far into it. I'm only on chapter 5 at the moment, but I have planned to read more of this. I'm sure I can take good dents of it, and the chapters are good shorts, and I like short chapters because my concentration is never that good, so I like short chapters. The next book is my new release, and for that I have chosen Occulta by Maya Montaigne, and this is the second book to the, I don't remember the name of the series, but the first book is Nocturna. And in Nocturna you follow a prince and a thief, and when their world collides to try to defeat an almost unstoppable evil, they have to work together. And I really, really enjoy this first book, Nocturna, and I have just this year finished a reread of that book. So, in preparation for this one, that came out, I don't know, was it in April? I don't remember. I am only like 3 chapters into it, so I'm not that far, but I, of course, also is excited to read more of this. Then we come to that series that I'm currently reading, and that series that I'm currently focused on is the Witcher series, and I have reached the Baptism of Fire, which is the third book in the Witcher series, and the Witcher series about a Witcher called Geralt, who is kind of a monster hunter who goes around hunting monsters for money, and then he get bound to this girl, and she have to protect that girl, and because they are kind of bound to each other by destiny. And I really, really love the series. I think there's only one book in this series I have given 4 stars. All the others have been 5 stars. Also, the short books that I recommend starting on the short story books, because it gives a broader picture for this series, for the main series, and I really, really enjoyed it. I haven't started this yet. I plan to start it. The thing that have dread me the most is there is always really, really long chapters. It's almost half a book each chapter, but that does also mean that there's only like not that many chapters. I think in the last book there was only 7 chapters or something, but they are insanely long. Yeah, there are only 7 chapters in this one as well. I really, really love the series. It actually has taken its place as my favorite fantasy series over Game of Thrones, who I have loved the books for so many years. This one has taken the cake, and the Game of Thrones need to do some work to take the first place again if they need to. So, George, please be done with the other books. So this one I'm really excited to get to. As it says, it's the third book in the series. The next one is a kind of like, it's been on my shelf for a while, but it's also one that I really wanted to read. And when Holly Hart Books read it, I was like, I need to read it too, because she really, really loved it, and I have similar reading taste to her. So I think I'm really, really going to enjoy it. And that is the 12th King of Shara, and this it's a desert fantasy, and I love desert fantasy. Anything that takes place in a desert, I really, really love. So for some reason, we don't need a desert where I live, so it's really, really funny that I really, really love desert. But the best description is what it says on the backside of this book. The 12th King of Shara tried to bury their secrets in the sand, but no matter how deeply they're buried, secrets want to be found. An assassin discovered the first of them, and was murdered by the kings who hoped their secret died with her. But secrets finds a way. The assassin had a daughter, and now she will uncover the truth. And that also caught me. The real history about this book is that I accidentally bought the third book in the series, and I was like, oh, well, I need to get the first one so I can find out if I want to read it that far. And I'm currently like in the middle of a chapter, 2 seconds, middle of chapter 5, and I'm currently really, really enjoying it. So I have mostly read this while I'm at school, because it's kind of like my school reads when I have breaks and stuff like that. So I try to read a chapter or two during my breaks in school. So I haven't read much or far into it, but I have enjoyed what I'm currently reading. The next one was like more of it. I wanted to continue the series, but I also needed a shorter book because those books I have shown you are huge. So I wanted a shorter book and an easier read, so I chose a YA fantasy to that, and that is The Fire Queen by Emily R. King, which is the second book in the 100 Queens series. I don't know if it have an official series title. And these books are really short and easy to read and stuff like that. And it's following the 100 Queen follow the girl Kalina, who is chosen by this type of king to be his 100 Queen. She needs to go to a tournament to earn her rank of the 100 Queen and all that stuff. It was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed the first book, so I'm really looking forward to see what's going on in this one. I'm already at chapter 9 in this one, so almost halfway there. There's 30 chapters in this, and the chapters are not that long. There's a medium length, I will say, for my standard at least. So I hope to finish this soon, and if I continue to like this series, I will definitely get the other books. The next one I didn't plan to read at first. I actually planned to take a break from this series after I read the second book of the series, because it was a little bit dragging and I wasn't not much in the mood for it. But the ending, oh my god, the ending of that book was so fantastic that I needed to pick up the third book in the series. And I'm, of course, talking of the third book in the Air Awakened series, Earth's Ends by Elise Kova. So, Air Awakens is about a girl named Vala Jarl who have been working in the Royal Library most of her life. She have always, like many other people of her the kingdom she come from, have feared sorcerers and their power until she herself awakened a magical power who haven't been seen for 100 years. It's really exciting. It's a YA fantasy romance. I don't know if it's YA. I will read it as YA, but it's very much a romance, and I have in the past not been that much keen into much romance. I don't really like when romance take over the fantasy, but I think that the romance in this book have been more spread out and more integrated into the plot of the fantasy world, and I really, really enjoy that. So I have started it. I have only read a chapter, so I'm not that far into it, but I finally started it, and it started out strong, so I'm looking forward to see what is going to happen in this one. So the last book I'm going to talk about is a book that come into mind when I talk with a friend who have read the book and really, really love the book and really, really want me to read the book. And when we came to talk about it, I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to start it. And that is The Rune of Kings by Lyons. And this one is about Kirin, who have never thought much about destiny. The only thing he wants is to buy an inn. He can get off the slums of Kur. I think this Kur is exposed. But then he robs the wrong house and is marked by a demon. And then things starts getting wrong. And it's so good. I really, really love this. There is really many chapters in this book. It's a long book. It's like over 500 pages. But it's so good. The chapters are not that long, so it's really my cup of tea because I love short chapters. And oh my god, this series is just, oh, I love it so much, and I'm looking forward to see what next is happen. Right now, I think this one is the book I'm the furthest into, because I am on chapter 23. So really enjoy this book. Looking forward see what is going to happen for the rest of it. I like the way the book is structured. It's there is two timelines that is told by two characters. One is the main character Kieran, who tells a part of his story, and then there's a character named Talon who tells another part of his story. And then there's some kind of footnote that confused me in the beginning, but now I'm more into the book. I have can better figure it out when to reading the footnotes and stuff like that, because it was a little bit confusing in the beginning, but it's so well written. I really love the way it's written and how it's built and all this stuff, and I'm so interested to see how this world is going to expand even more, because there's so many books out now. So it's a little bit overwhelming, because I have seen the lengths of those books and they are not tiny, they are huge. So yeah, really really exciting to finish this book. Definitely one that are going to be the favorite of this year. So yes. So that was what I'm currently reading. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want, you can comment something, you can like this video, you can subscribe. It's a choice. You can choose for yourself if you want. And I hope you have a good day, night, or whatever you are. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.